man? What's good? What's good? I just wanted to jump on here. This is kind of impromptu. I didn't plan this. I didn't do a whole lot of research for this. I just got to get some thoughts off my chest here for a second. Now, let's see. You see the title, you see the thumbnail. By my calculations, if I am correct, it's been about 18 months since the death of Kevin Samuels to this date. Maybe a little shy. I don't know. But I've been angry since yesterday. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I was watching the video that friends and family of Kevin Samuels dropped. You know, a lot of people put a lot of effort into it to go through the clips, cut everything up, and they dropped the video last night. It premiered last night, or the other night, and it was, a compilation of some great advice that he was giving. Now, if you're not aware, or maybe you never thought about this, but when I first encountered him before he went viral, my thoughts was, this guy is speaking to men through the women he had on his show. Well, what do you mean by that? Well, sometimes you can be talking to an audience, but the intended message skips, it hits the audience, and then it skips over to another intended audience. This man, in my opinion, was thinking 2 or 3 levels deep. Because by telling women how to get what they want, it taught the men that, hey, if you want these types of women, you have to be this. Then you can speak to these women like this, if that makes sense. And throughout his career, up until his passing, that's pretty much what I gathered from everything he was trying to say. If you want to be the dude that runs your household and you want to be the man, you have to perform a certain way. And he did that by talking through the women, because the women wanted certain things out of life. They wanted a certain lifestyle they wanted to live. In order to get that lifestyle, you have to be this type of woman to get this type of dude. So in contrast, in order to get this type of women, you had to be this certain type of dude. You can't demand nothing if you have nothing. And he spread that message so much through all the 1100 videos he has on YouTube. And he did that on a night by night basis. And I think a lot of people missed that. And the people who he said that he was bashing a lot of times, they were basically getting the same sort of advice that men would get from other men. If you want to come on here, show your ass, and act like a man, he talked to you like a man. He pretty much gave you the energy that you were giving him. Now, a lot of people may not like that because we live in this society where we try to handle people with soft hands. How's that working out for us? Sometimes, I'm going to give you a concept. Our society works off of positive reinforcement. Positive. Everything you get is positive. Positive, positive, positive. They always tell you the great outcomes, but they never promise anything. They never give you what you actually need to hear. And on the flip side, there's this thing called negative reinforcement. Another way to get people, to motivate people to do the things that they need to do. Now, we've heard all this positive reinforcement and so many different things that you can do and you're going to get this outcome no matter what you do. It's like promising fairy tales. Positive reinforcement is good. However, if you never show the negative side of anything, all you're going to get is fairy tales. And there's a bunch of adults walking around thinking one thing, hey, I did all these right steps. I did things a certain way. I'm not getting the outcomes that I want. Well, that's where negative reinforcement comes in. If you don't handle your business, you will never be that guy. You'll never be that man. You will never be him when it comes to men. And that's one of the things I think that people missed out on. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just where I came from and being in the military where you had negative reinforcement. For example, you don't want to stay late on a Friday. Get everything you need to do done early Thursday, first thing in the morning, or get it done early Friday so there's no loose ends when it came to the weekend and we didn't have any hot items that had to be done before the final formation. Now that's negative reinforcement. Both forces can be great motivators, but if you never get the negative and you're always showing the positive, that's how we got this entitled society that we have today. Now, I'm not going to be on here long running my mouth, but I think a lot of people kind of miss out. They don't have any structure, any discipline. These are things that I learned while I was in the Army. You can't continue to blow smoke up somebody's ass before they fail. And I think that's what's happened in the modern society. The whole participation trophy, praising everybody for everything they do right. Yeah, it does great for their mental health, but if they're not aware of where they've gone wrong, then they'll think they're doing everything perfectly. And that's what I got from Kevin. Everybody gets something different. That's what I got from Kevin Samuels. I took every piece of advice. I even watched his old videos. I was watching him prior to his passing because I wanted to be well versed in his material. Because if he has this much to say on this end, what else has he said? So I did my research. There are so many videos on his channel about men and giving the whole cold, hard truth to men. And we live in a society where women have been told these things, these positive things all their freaking life. They can do no wrong, and it's hurt us. I'm not on the women bashing thing because, hell, y'all know where y'all went wrong. Can't nobody tell y'all nothing. I don't talk about what men are doing wrong because we've been told all our lives what we're doing wrong. My channel exists just to help young gentlemen move in the right direction. I can't tell you what to do, but I'm trying to help people move in a different direction. I'm giving you answers to multiple possibilities, or showing you multiple possibilities that you can take advantage of. And a lot of people don't like that. Like, why are you helping the men? I've heard this in conversation in passing in my personal life. Why are you just helping men? Because we have been left out to dry. Case in point, I told one individual, do a scholarship search on scholarships for just women. Okay, they came back with some results. There are thousands of them. Now do a scholarship search on just men. Almost non-existent. Anytime you type into one of the national scholarship searches, you'll get like a ton of mixed results, and you'll get a bunch of scholarships that are geared towards both genders, rather. This is what I'm trying to say. Now, there's nothing wrong with just having scholarships for just genders, but it becomes for both genders, but it becomes kind of one-sided when you only offer women's scholarships. Now, last time I checked, equality has been on the books for a long time within the laws, hiring practice, and so forth, longer than I've been alive, at least the last 50 years. Now, you can't keep claiming that such and such folks are always behind, because we've had 50 years of nothing but progress. The playing field has been evened out over a certain period of time. And now you're seeing that one gender has an advantage over the other. That's why there's so many more degrees versus fellas with degrees. I mean, this is all facts. You can look this up. Do your scholarship search. Do your Census Bureau search. It'll tell you that the women of every race, of every gender, are more educated than the men of their race and gender. I mean, of their race, rather. So how do you keep pushing this narrative that people are so far behind? It doesn't make sense. Anybody with half a brain can see that this isn't working. The equality that everybody wants has been achieved. But I digress. Jumping back to the Kevin Samuels conversation, and the reason why I jumped on here, wanted to go live, because I don't feel like recording or editing this. I'm just going straight off the brain. I watched that video they premiered the other day. Now, folks are aware by now that they have moderators. Even the old school moderators were in the chat. And as the video went on, you had people sliding little backhanded comments, little insults to, they're very crafty with it. That the insults they were sending, if you just seen it on surface, wouldn't have seemed like anything. But as you thought about it, like, wait a minute. That was a slight towards this man who gave you all this knowledge. And yet you felt the need to come back 18 months later to land an insult. Like, case in point, we all know what the cause of his death was, but for some reason, some beta male coon came into the comment section and wanted to make his comment read something like this. It has been deleted. I pointed it out to one of the moderators and he deleted it. So you're probably not going to catch it on the replay. But it went like this. Is that Red Bull in his glass? According to his family and the people close to him, he died of cardiac arrest. One of the things that contributes to cardiac arrest is energy drinks, a lot of caffeine, smoking, et cetera, et cetera. We already knew, we've known for over a year what the cause of his death was. And yet you felt the need to point out that he had Red Bull in his glass. Why? If your grandmother died from cancer, you wouldn't walk in the room and toss a pack of cigarettes in her casket. That's what it seemed like to me. A backhanded comment insulting the man, his friends, his families, and fans of him in the comment section. That's what it looked like to me. You insulted everybody that was watching. And you can't say that you didn't know what you were doing. And I still remember the name because that person typed several comments in the chat. I'm gonna have to go back and then look at it. I still remember it. I know it when I see it. But you felt the need to come back here. The reason why you even knew that, either you're still subscribed or following Kevin, and you felt the need to come back 18 months later to take a shit in his comment section. Why? I don't have that type of energy. I don't play with nobody's death. I don't celebrate nothing. At the least, I will say that person deserved to go. And I reserve that for people like the Mustache Man from World War II. Because that person killed men, women, and children. You understand? He didn't discriminate. That person needed to go. Kevin Samuels did nothing but talk to men, and he talked to black women because he cared about the community. And yet Y'all still came in this comment section trying to crack jokes, pointing
I
out
would say
pointing out the obvious. Sorry about that. Pointing out the obvious. Still dancing on his grave. One person in particular, I'm still working on how I want to approach this video. DZ, you know what it stands for. Don't come in here and make a comment about it. DZ. That person's channel went live, said some of the most vile things about KS that I would never would have thought would have came out of the mouth of a black woman. He was gone by that point. And I've sat on this video and my thoughts for about a year. I've downloaded the video and everything. Because for me, like many other black men, that was the turning point where you decided, hey, I'm going to walk away from this community. This community is ran by certain folks. If you don't have 2 X chromosomes, you ain't shit. And that's how it's been. And a lot of people will sit up here and say, come back and save the community. But what did the community do when a black man who tried to help them died? Shit on him. Continue to drag his name through the mud. Make fun of the friends, family, and fans. And it's still continuing on to this day. Like, what do you gain from that? Seriously, what do you gain from that? I would seriously like to know. Like, I am so confused. You want men like myself to come back and save a community that doesn't care. Because for some reason you believe the worst of black men. Instead of looking at the positive. Without audio, you can look at this picture and you can tell that he was giving you some hard medicine. Didn't taste very good. I listened to this for 22 years of my Army career where you weren't doing what you were supposed to do and you had people that held you accountable. Why should your other half be any different? Why? We're not children. You don't have to handle me with kid gloves. It should be the same on the other side. Why is it that one half of a group is considered like a protected class? Why do you get to say all these things? And I'm going to say this. If you do a search for feminist books, you're going to find them going all the way back, further than the 60s. And sadly, a lot of them were written by black women. Now, this is not a slight to modern women today, because everyone has their own sets of issues and things they're dealing with. But the seeds were planted almost 60 plus years ago. And we're still trying to fight through the noise of indoctrination that's happened over the past 60 years. Black men have fought an uphill battle for a long time to change their image. And the ones destroying our image are the other half and the sons they raise. So you can't sit here and tell me that I'm wrong. Well, KS is wrong. A whole generation of entitled folks who you can't correct, who you can't say anything to, who are essentially allowed to do whatever they want to do. What do you do with that? And it pisses me off that people want to come in here and talk about him. He's the one person who was trying to save everybody. Aside from the lessons I learned in the Army, I learned a lot more after that from him. That we deserve to be in this space. We deserve to make it like every other race of men. We deserve a seat at the table. Because it was our sacrifices, or our ancestors' sacrifices, men who swang from the damn trees, who sacrificed themselves so that all these things can happen. We paved the way through our sacrifice for other races of men to be here. Because if none of this shit happened to us, nothing would have ever changed. We had to prove that we are human too, and that we belong here. And then everybody else rode our coattails into the spotlight, and they were elevated above us. Now, I don't believe in the whole pro-black bullshit that they put out there on Twitter, but I do believe that men that look like me, look like Kevin, deserve the respect as men. Okay? So don't give me that bullshit. Don't come in with your excuses. Don't say he was bashing women. Are we equals? He talked to y'all the same way. The only difference is y'all came in here irate, wanting to prove a point, trying to tell this man he was wrong. And you don't have the data, the wealth, you don't have the social standing to prove him wrong. Black men do. And for the rest of y'all, don't y'all ever come into a chat room, post a negative or vile video about him because he was trying to help. It's funny how you only become a hero after you're dead. Biggie Smalls made a song called "You're Nobody Till Somebody Kills You." The same principle can be applied here. Because it seems like people are really bearing their fangs since his passing. And I don't appreciate it. You will never repair a community or fix your plight in life by harboring all this hatred towards other folks. Because white people are not worried about black people. They don't go their whole lives, their lives, and a majority of them live their lives without thinking about what the hell has happened to us. And I think things won't change until you let go of the hatred and do for self. As much as the small hat community despises German folks of that era, I guarantee you they don't walk around every day looking for the mustache man's troops or people who align with them. They got their money, they got their reparations, and they moved on. The Asian folks who were put in camps during World War II, they moved on. They dislike their history, but they don't harbor a hatred like we do. It takes so much energy to feed into hatred. Why not use that energy somewhere else? Like focusing on your family, improving your situation, and getting the hell on. I don't know, man. I think we put a lot of energy, fellow black men, into the wrong places. I really think we do. We put so much energy as far as the pro-black sector in the hating white people. You hold yourself back. You don't pursue certain things because white people there, white people. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. Stop being afraid. Stop making excuses, rather. There's so many opportunities out there for you, your family, friends, relatives, whatever. You just got to seize them. Before I clock out of here, my next video is going to be, I'm going back to the trades. I just had to get that off my chest because that really pissed me off. But I'm going back to the trades. I'm going back to talking about the different opportunities that you have in front of you. All you got to do is do it, because there's a shortage in the trades. And if you want to get to the bag, it may take you a little bit of, brow sweat. You may get dirty. But hell, I got white friends right now, shit paid for, because they started out in their early 20s in the trades. I'm talking about houses paid for. 20 years later, 15 years later, houses paid for. Kids set up. Remember, in that first video, my 8 hours is more valuable than yours. That's not flexing on you. I'm just telling you, do something that's worth your time. I know that the internet will tell you, do things like get passive income so you don't have to work and shit like that. Shit doesn't work for very many people until you have the capital, and you're not going to get the capital till you get a better job. So join me on my next video. Like, share, subscribe, and we're going to get the ball rolling. Anyway, I'm out.